fuck? I haven't even poured any. I got the bug.
What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? Celtic Warrior Shane.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I would never have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Welcome to the dive bar of the IWC. That's right, this is Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show. That's right, you made it. You've made it for episode 1, because all episodes are episode 1 again. I'm at Ref Marsh. We're at WOTR the show. With me today for a Thursday Night Chaser, I'm going to start with Miss Amanda Jane. Say hello.
Hi, guys. Welcome to episode 1 again.
And also, resident mascot and beloved Klump. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a wonderful, pleasant evening. And thank you for joining us for another glorious episode of Wrestling on the Rocks.
That's how he always sounds.
Why do I feel like we're at like medieval times or something?
I don't know. I'm just talking as I normally do. It is episode 1. This is how I talk.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Dude, Renaissance Festival's coming back in February. I got an email about it. You should let me know if you want to go.
Oh, what? That would be wonderful. I do want to go.
Oh, it's a good time. It's a good time. We when COVID hit, we were supposed to go to. We went to the medieval times the week before everything shut down. It was things were starting to get like weird, and we had a separate pair of tickets I was trying to sell to a friend for like the last weekend. And then COVID hit and it shut down, and they're like, any outstanding tickets, just send them in and we'll refund it. And I was like, fuck, that works for us. We made it and we got our money back.
I love it.
Yeah. That's what it was. We went like the first week of the month and it ended on the last weekend of the month. So it was lucky. It was a lucky time for us. I'm excited to go back, though. I've missed it.
I want to go dressed as a plague doctor.
That's fucked up. Klump could. He's got the mask. You just got to be careful not to get it dirty.
It does not fit me. My head is quite large.
That's a good point. He definitely tried.
Sorry.
That's what we know. That's what we know. Just in time in the chat. Cheers, just in time. Thank you for coming through and having a drink with us. Your drinking buddies. Yeah, guys, it's good to be back. Good to see you. It's been a good week for wrestling. Man, it's been such a good week for wrestling that even Raw was good. How wild is that?
What? What? No.
Yeah, Raw was fantastic. It was crazy. Not expected at all. I did introduce everyone. That's what we started with, the introductions. You're just upset because I didn't do the Ironics, but that's not this episode. Me and Kevlar on Wednesday nights are the fabled duo, the Ironics. The producer is waiting for it.
I'm waiting for my Carmelo one.
Yeah, you are. Ordered the rosé. You ordered your rosé too, didn't you, Amanda?
I sure did.
Did you see on a lot of the social medias that were going around, Bailey and Kayla, I believe Renee Paquette, all received a box of rosé with a wine stopper from Capalcano?
Yes.
Natty.
Mm-hmm.
You saw it? Did you see what the wine stopper said?
Mm-mm.
The wine stopper said quitter. So funny. Like if you didn't finish the bottle, you're a quitter. It's so funny to me. I love it.
Damn. Okay, calling us out, Tom. Love that woman. I love.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. Well, guys, I'm happy just to get into it. Let's just get going. Let's going. Let's start with what's in your glass. I want to start with Amanda today.
Well, I pre-gamed. I've got
Very
not
well
only one non-sponsored, but sponsored for two. So this one is, well, it's not showing. But this one's strawberry frosé, which I added a little bit of rosé to it. Not the rosé that we're waiting for, but a rosé nonetheless. Bad idea. And then my other one's my cherry, which I put vanilla stoli. So
Wow. I hope you don't work tomorrow.
no,
I hope you're off. Good.
I am off. I am off.
Yeah,
And I have Coke here too.
And a Coke just to top it all off. The rosé that you put in the slush is it not tasting like you had hoped?
Well, already, if anyone has tried the wine, like I don't know what they call it, but the wine flavored slushes that they are doing for the summertime.
Yeah.
It already tastes like rosé.
Yeah.
But the rosé that I had was not very good. So.
Oh.
Yeah, kind of. But when I do the Capicagna, I'm going to have the plain slush.
Well, that sounds good. Sounds good that it sounds terrible. Producer's saying that the Bishop tried to get a bottle of it and they don't ship to Delaware?
Yeah.
Oh!
This Takes was all upset. They don't ship to Delaware.
Wah, wah, wah.
Also, why? Why Delaware? It's not like it's not Alaska. I mean, Christ. I bet you they ship to New York right next to it. I bet you they ship to Rhode Island. I bet you it probably has to do with like the shipping thing itself, like the ins and outs and the shipping of alcohol. Certain states don't allow shit like that.
I love you can pay in increments. That's what I do.
Yep, you can do the payments on there. Very good, very good.
Yep.
It's funny in my own personal group chat, for whatever reason, my dad and my siblings were all in a group chat together. My dad just sends out a message to us saying, "Hey, we've canceled our trip to Delaware. We're not going to do it anymore, but we're going to keep our trip to Arizona." And my brother, out of nowhere, just puts up in the chat, "Tucson is better than Delaware." And I was like, I swear to God, he doesn't even listen to this show, but he's supporting it nonetheless.
Wow. Damn.
No. Klump, what's in your glass?
Oh, I have coffee. Just some coffee. Iced coffee. Lovely iced coffee.
Is it cream, sugar, anything like that? Just black?
It's got cream in it. That's it.
Very good. Very good.
I went downgrade and I needed a coffee and I kept like fucking up getting it ordered. And I was like, I just need it. So I was at Trader Joe's and I bought their coffee and it wasn't great. So New Wave Coffee, absolutely amazing. Cannot recommend it more. Do not be me. Get yourself some New Wave Coffee. Order a couple bags. Have it backed up for you. I believe we have a promo code. For the love of God, tell me I'm not just giving people things. And I forgot my accent. Fuck.
Yeah, you lost the voice. It's NOOWAVE.co to get your Flow State coffee, and you could do it better than Klump does it. Promo code Cheers. Promo code Cheers to get your 10% off any first order. So if you get like the shirts or the mugs or anything, get 10% off all of that. If you want to do the subscription-based thing so you're never without coffee, like Klump has found himself in, you can get 10% off your first bag, or you could just buy 30 bags at once and get 10% off that whole order. It's really up to you how you want to use that. And if they have any sales going on, that 10% is on top of whatever ongoing sales they have. So definitely check out Flow State Coffee. at newwave.co, NOOWAVE.co.
I think I want to try a New Wave coffee slushy. Well,
Yeah, I bet you that'd be really good. I mean, iced coffee is already good. I have the coffee cold, but yeah, I bet you if you poured it into one of those just the slush ices without the juice, I bet you'd be great.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I have to
On
get
my
that
list.
sorted out. Write it down. Write it down. I'm having the old Pendleton whiskey, and I put a little bit of a Tejava sweetened black tea, unsweetened black tea, just so I can have a nice little pep in my step tonight. Let's see. Jeremy in time coming through. Cheers Dive Bar, ready for another episode 1. And I'm telling you, they've somehow gotten their colors the same as Justin and Jeremy, and it's going to be very hard for me to distinguish the two of them. Jeremy used to be red. I don't know how to do it now. I don't know how to change it. Guys, let's get into the happy stuff. A lot of good news, a lot of happy things happened today, tomorrow, and yesterday. If we wanted to hit the belated, the future, and the today. We'll start with belated. Fabled at WWE Front Row on Twitter. Friend of the show, host of the Nation show. I was just on their show last week, I believe it was, the Nation show. As a guest. I was very happy to be on and be a part of that crew. But Front Row had his birthday yesterday, so cheers and happy birthday to Front Row. Just me?
Mm-hmm.
Only me?
Ooh, strawberry stuff.
And then today, good news. Angel Garza had a birthday, so happy birthday to Angel Garza. New tag team with Humberto Carrillo, his cousin. They're fresh off of a victory, and hopefully they see some tag gold down the line. But happy birthday to Angel Garza. Cheers to him. You guys aren't going to take part of any of these cheers?
I am. I'm not cheer. I'm drinking.
You're going to say it. You gotta at least say like woo.
Woo!
Yeah.
Actually, we maybe shouldn't say woo right now. So
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really good point. Don't say woo.
hallelujah.
Yeah.
Testify.
I can't woo.
Testify.
I could.
Say it again.
I can't say whoop whoop. It gives me diseases.
That's a good point.
Oh,
Yo,
I'm sorry.
so at the house, Klump, we get Whoosh, which you're familiar with as a cleaning chemical for computers.
Yeah.
And we keep it around the house. Well, we ran low, and yesterday we got our new shipment in of Whoosh, and as producers opening it up, she pulls it out, and I just went, whoosh, there it is. She was so upset and just walked away from me.
I back that up. Why do you get whoosh? It's not great. It has a terrible taste and it smells cummy. Why do you get?
tasting it?
I mean, you're not supposed to drink it.
Yeah.
It happens, but it smells. Not great. Why? Why do you get whoosh?
Because before that, she was using bleach rags.
I'd rather smell bleach rags. That smells less cummy.
Not on my computers. No one's talking about you. We're talking about Whoosh. All right. And then also today, Karrion Kross and Scarlett got engaged.
Heck yeah! Woo!
Cheers to them. They are the perfect demonic couple. TikTok, as they say. They are good together, it seems. Yeah, they've been together for a long time, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good stuff, good stuff. And then the other thing I have before we get into wrestling news, tomorrow, fabled a friend of the show at Stephanie Hypes. Her birthday is tomorrow, so we're gonna preemptively say happy birthday to her too. She was for a while she was it BLHW Stephanie, and now she's Stephanie Hypes because she posted a GIF and then got the old copyright infringement, and her Twitter got taken down. So I don't know how many of those you need before they take you down, but I feel like it's got to be more than one.
Yeah, but I've seen people with only one, and they
Just get shut down. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, cheers to her, friend of the show. Like I said, happy
Pre-game.
birthday to Stephanie. Pre-game.
Pre-game.
Hell yeah!
All right. Well, so we got all the nice stuff, the niceties out of the way. We do have wrestling news in and of itself. I'm just going to start with this real quick, and then I know, Amanda, you have something you want to talk about. I watched, because it was on, MLW Fusion Alpha, their show. This did pop up on YouTube, so I watched YouTube wrestling, but I decided to let it be MLW and not 9 hours of AEW tryout matches.
It's not 9 hours anymore.
Yeah, but it was, and it's left a terrible
It
taste in
used
my
to
mouth.
be.
But
I know, but it used to be. It's not anymore.
But Fusion is 1 hour MLW. It's not going to be... I don't think Alpha's going to be on Vice. It's really weird the way that they're doing it. So they're going to have one show on Vice, I think just called Fusion. Fusion Alpha's going to be on YouTube. But on October 7th, they're doing the... I don't think it's called Homecoming, but it's something along those lines. They have a special coming up. It is going to be Jacob Fatu versus Hammerstone,
Ooh,
and that is going to
very
be on
nice.
Vice.
Nice.
Fightland, that's what it is. Fightland.
We wanted to go, but
Yeah, we decided it wasn't going to be financially wise of us to make that trip happen, but it is going to be on Vice TV, so we're going to watch that. I watched it. I don't think you guys did, right?
No, I didn't know it was for free.
Yeah.
That you
Oh
watch
well,
on Fight. Yeah.
Fatu and Hammerstone's going to be free on Vice, so definitely check that out. But this one, MLW Fusion, I wouldn't say that it was like a can't miss show, but it was very good, a lot of fun. I really liked the wrestling on there. The main event, what was it? Was it Chris Dickinson against TJP? Or was it not Chris Dickinson? God, I can't remember the name of it. Oh, it was Davey Richards.
Oh, he's making a big old comeback.
Yes, he is.
I thought he was like one who was permanently going to retire because he became a firefighter or something, or a paramedic, or I don't know.
Yeah, Davey Richards. He even tweeted out something about, thanks for welcoming me back and all of that. So,
Yeah.
But it was just fun. It was a good show, man. It was. I like how much. I think that they all do a really good job of making it look like you're watching fighting and stuff, and they still keep the stories going really well. So, I'm just constantly impressed by MLW. I was excited to watch it. I just wanted to throw that out there and let people know they can watch it.
Okay.
Bishop from Terrible Wrestling Takes Podcast, TW Takes Podcast /TWTs for your comfy merch with promo code DiveBar. He's in the chat saying, I'll be your reporter on the ground at Fightland. That's right. It's going to be in Philadelphia. So he's going to have to leave the comfort of Delaware and make his way out to see Fightland, which I think is awesome.
Be careful. Bring mace, whatever,
Bring mace?
for your return back to Delaware. That's the hard part.
The hard part's getting back in.
Yep, getting back in.
Awesome. But yeah, I didn't expect you guys to watch it. I'm not going to break down the whole card. I just really enjoyed it. I really liked it. I got my issues with TJP. I'm not a big fan of him as a person or anything.
Nope.
The match was very, very good, but I could have done without him either way. But outside of that, it was cool to see Davey Richards back, and it was a really good match. And the Von Erichs won. It was great. Amanda, you said you had some news.
I do. I'm very excited about this. Yesterday, it was announced that there's a return. A certain somebody who's very controversial. So unfollow me if you will. But I am excited that the villain, Marty Skrull, is back. He's going to be wrestling in Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. And
What was the name of the promotion out there?
Oh, I don't know. It's
Yeah, it was like CWP or something.
CWP or something.
Hmm?
I wonder if it's the same promotion Kyoto was at.
I don't think Kyoto's out there anymore.
I don't-
Do you
yeah.
think it's the Colognes one or no?
No, it's not the Colognes one.
Not the Colognes one. Kyoto's
No.
with the Colognes.
No, because he's the only. I almost called him Gaijin, but he's the only non-Latin person. Let's say it that way.
Mhm.
But I know people don't want him out there. There's a lot of people who do. Think of it as what you will. But I must stress, he actually made a new video, and I actually was shocked that there was a video, and
Yeah.
I think it's a good 45 seconds to watch. If you like him, great, you'll love it. If you don't, fuck you. Just don't watch it. Don't watch it. Don't put your hate on it. Okay, there you go. So, but
I mean, that's true. It really was a very villain-esque, very classic kind of video of his. It wasn't like a tell-all. It wasn't a big promo. It was very much just like classic villain stuff. So if you do like him, you will enjoy it. If you don't like him, it's not going to provide you anything. You know what I mean? It's not going to provide you anything. So
No,
I watched it. I really liked it. Man, his video stuff that he makes is so good. I want to be like a part of that. That's all I felt like when I'm watching it. It's like, I wish I made this.
you know, I'm gonna ask him if James Musselwhite helped him with this one, because I know he did the original ones back when he became the villain. Before James Musselwhite got really like popular with Portrait of a Wrestler and all that other stuff. So I'm curious, but this is a new evolution of Marty. If you watch it, his theme, it's different now. There is no whoop whoop anymore. Thank the Lord. Thank you. That drove me nuts. Still does to this day. But I think that wrestling is missing a lot of really, really creative people. And I really hope that people are accepting of this. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's my money I'm spending. You don't have to spend money on it. Yeah. So that's
the other thing is that I really hope that if he's going to come back, I think it's interesting that he's coming back to Puerto Rico versus anywhere else. I wish that he would, if not do an interview, do his own video where he explains himself, where he's at, what he's done to grow, like knowing a little bit of his story. I think it'd be important to tell that and to tell that move forward and to tell his journey towards some kind of redemption in some way. So I just hope that he does that. And maybe this is step one, is to see how it goes in Puerto Rico. But I do hope that he at least speaks on it, even if he allows somebody to just grill him and give the answers that he gives. Like, because I do agree as far as like his creative goes, it's fantastic. But as far as all the other stuff goes, like, it should be addressed, you know. Klump, any thoughts? You don't have to give any. You can say pass.
Crunching, sorry.
Oh.
He muted the crunch.
Yeah, oh yeah. He was being a good dude. He was having chips.
I'm excited to see him come back, but yes, I do agree. I think the longer that somebody's out, and I'm torn here in that I don't believe somebody has to instantly defend themselves or back themselves up, but I think it would definitely be helpful to a lot of people to talk about it, talk about growth, talk about what's going on, because if not, and it's not acknowledging or saying that there's guilt there, but it is talk of what I took away from this experience. And that would be important, because that is an interesting conversation, to say the least. And I think an invaluable one.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, and like we've talked about before, it's one thing to demand accountability, but it's another thing to not allow for growth or change. And I think the conversation of what's next after accountability is really important. Can people change? Can there be another side of it? And maybe the answer is no, but I think the conversation needs to happen. And I do think that someone as well spoken as him and someone who's gone through the efforts as him, someone's going to have to eventually pave the way of, if there is a coming back, then what does that look like? You know what I mean? Because the conversation is never about how does someone ever come back. It's about how do we shut someone out forever.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, yesterday, just looking through social media, all channels of it, mostly Instagram and Twitter, I will say, a lot of people don't have the story correct. I noticed that. I will say it's about a good 60-40. 60% of them don't know what they're talking about. And it's kind of disappointing, because it's like both stories are out there. There was nothing, nothing was weird. So
we don't need to get into the weeds of trying to defend him either. I'm just saying that
but
I hope that he
no.
takes
but most people know.
Well, yeah, I'll say that too, is that you see it when it first comes out, and then you see the way people talk about it now, and you go, that's not even what first came out. So, yeah, there is a distinction to be made there. But at the same time,
Yeah.
like I said, I just hope that he takes a journey in front of a camera or a microphone, either on his own or with someone, and talk about all that stuff. But yeah, he's gonna be back. He's going back to Puerto Rico.
Yeah, I totally hope so. So, good luck, Marty, on your endeavors. I'm actually was toying going. So, but
Absolutely. Any other news that you guys had?
No.
Because we can get into the shows if you want.
Let's jump into it.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see. We do have Scarface 870 in the channel, in the chat. He's just listing off all the results of Rampage of
That's
every
awesome.
single match. So
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah.
You just
so
spoiled
it's
it.
there. Spoiler
great.
alert.
There's only like the match like I really wanted to see. Everyone goddamn spoiled it. So you know what? Freaking IWC, fuck you. Don't spoil shit. Okay?
What do you mean?
Please.
What are you talking about?
People were posting like for Rampage tomorrow. Posting all the spoilers. Yeah.
I get it. So, that's
Wait,
what he's
Rampage
doing.
wasn't live?
They taped it.
They taped it. They always tape it on Dynamite, and so I guess some people are trying to put out all the what's going to happen here. So,
Oh, cool.
all right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not going to read that. I don't like. Yeah, I'm just letting you know that like that's what's in the chat. I'm not going to read it. So if Scarface was hoping I'd read his comment on our podcast, I'm not going to read tomorrow's results. I enjoy watching wrestling too much to try and do that. So
Yeah. And there's someone on probably the biggest match of that show that, I don't want that spoiled for me. And it already has been. But, come on.
Yeah, I don't
It's a
see
big
the
deal
point.
for me. Yeah, I don't see the
Yeah,
point
it's
either.
fun to watch stuff. So I didn't watch any of Rampage. Did either of you check out Rampage?
Yeah, ish. Well, we all know Rampage now has a new commentator, the fourth man in the booth. That would be absolute Ricky Starks. I don't know why. Why does anyone know why Mark Henry was ousted from that? Was he that bad? I don't remember. So now he's just doing backstage interviews.
Really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah. He was the fourth man. So I don't know if anyone knows. Please, let us know because that was a mystery to me.
I have a question for you, Amanda, and this is because I know you're more of a fan of Ricky Starks and no more. So
No.
is he switching to commentary more than? Is there an injury? Because I've been seeing the promos for the TBS. Is it his neck that he's really like getting away from wrestling, or what's going on there?
No, he's still wanting to wrestle with the neck injury. I think what happened was when he came back and he wrestled Cage when he got the belt.
Yeah.
It stirred something up again a little bit, so he's been kind of taking a back seat.
Gotcha.
But it's just because he's so good on the mic, and he had some pretty classic lines on Rampage last week. I was dying. I mean, but they're very subtle, so it's kind of cool. But I do know that he's not 100%. That I do know.
Damn.
Yeah, and it sucks because when you have just a fracture, I mean, you can't even get fusion surgery or anything with that. You just have to kind of let it be.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll be back soon. I think he's waiting for, if he's going to do it, it's going to be big. So
that is rough, but and hopefully him getting in more because he is such a good talent, and not just in the ring, on the mic. Like, dude's genuinely an amazing performer or worker, everything there.
Yeah.
So he's what you want to see.
he has good people too. So that when you have all of that, it's like you want people like that to succeed. So that's my opinion.
Was there anything about Rampage at all that stood out that you wanted to talk about?
What do you think? I'm trying to think of Rampage also. To be honest, no.
Yeah.
It was, I think it's because they knew going into this week and having Grand Slam that was more important than anything that they would do at all.
Yeah.
So
right.
yeah, because
We'll
even Dark Elevation was kind of meh,
Yeah.
and Dark was kind of meh. So.
All right. We'll talk about Dynamite then. You guys saw all of Dynamite. I watched only the beginning of Dynamite. I watched the opening match, and once it kind of fell to pieces at the end there, I went ahead and just turned it off, and I did not see a reason to go back. So I did watch that, so I can talk on the Omega and Kenny stuff. But I mean, if you want me to start with that.
So he's two people now.
Yeah, Omega and Kenny.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
that's how that works.
Yep. Oh gosh. Well.
So I know I told Amanda to watch, if she could, Roman versus Daniel Bryan from SmackDown in April.
I have to watch that.
Yeah, and you didn't get to watch it.
Maybe we should do a special, like a one-off.
Maybe. We still got to watch those Suzuki matches, especially before we go to see him. We got our tickets for GCW. We're going to go see Suzuki versus Gage.
You're so lucky.
It's going to be crazy.
God.
It's going to be
So
crazy.
jealous. So jealous.
But I want to start with Klump, because Klump seen almost, I mean, I don't know how much of WWE you were watching by the time that Thunderdome came to an end and all that. Did you even see the end of Daniel Bryan's run? Did you see the Roman versus Daniel Bryan and stuff like that?
I didn't see that. I did see the triple threat match, which I thought was great. I saw, but I've seen Daniel Bryan in a lot of different matches. And I've seen him work with a lot of people where people come into the match thinking it's going to be a squash, or they question the ability for him to work with the other talent, and that worker can do their job. Daniel Bryan with Brock Lesnar is one of my favorite fucking matches. And I think is an incredibly underrated match for the past 10 years. Yeah. Because it showcases two things that we hear all the time, is that Daniel Bryan is not pushed and would be crushed, and no, he has a very competitive match with Brock Lesnar, and that Brock Lesnar can't work. Brock Lesnar gives so fucking much to Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
And it speaks to Brock Lesnar gives so much to everyone. He is a good worker. He is an interesting worker with an interesting personality. He's an interesting person, but he is a fantastic fucking worker, and that should be recognized there. For sure. So in seeing other matches with Daniel Bryan and coming into this, I was excited.
Yeah.
If anyone could have a good match with Kenny Omega, it's Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson at this point. And he's had good and interesting matches with Kenny that are both humorous and competitive. I don't think this was a bad match at all.
Yeah.
I think it was a great match for AEW. I think it was a great opening match. The one thing that y'all are going to hate me on, and I didn't spoil it for myself, I didn't see the end of it, so I don't know who won.
Oh. You don't know how it ended?
Kenny won, I assume, right?
No. I mean, how much of the match did you see? It was a 30-minute match.
I saw 20 minutes of it, and then I had to go finish food.
Okay, so you were enjoying it as it was building. At the very end of the match, they're kind of rolling around, tussling. Daniel Bryan's trying to get the bell lock on. Kenny's not that far from the ropes, but he's not super close either, so you really don't know, and that's when the time limit hits. So they did a really good job of not making it such an obvious false finish with a 2.5 count, where it left a lot on the table of who could that have put away Kenny? Maybe. Could Kenny have gotten out of it? Maybe. So I thought they did a really good job of ending it in such a way that when the commentary's if there was another minute, Daniel Bryan could have easily put this away, but also there was enough towards the end where you thought, yeah, but at the same time, there was enough where Kenny didn't have to give up there either. So it really was absolutely. So it really kind of came down to me to one of the better non-finishes you can give, right? If you're going to use a time limit draw, I've never been a big fan of the just 1 second more and it would have been over. It was a 2.5 count and the guy never moved again. This is one where it went to a time limit draw and you're just all okay, I have no answers here. So then you're equally willing to watch it again because, sorry, but with a 1 second time limit draw finish, you just go, oh, well, that guy won. It just went to a draw.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's
100%.
technicality.
Yeah, when you see those in Iron matches, I'm always like, God, it's so played out. I'm glad that they did that, because my expectation, and why I didn't spoil it for myself, was I was fully expecting this to be a schmoz with the Elite or Callus or something happening where they got in, and I was gonna be pissed. Or
They did do that.
My hope, second way, was that Daniel Bryan would eke it out, and then, okay, cool, Kenny is not unbeatable in this promotion, which I think they needed to do. So that's awesome. That does build it, because this shouldn't be. I know we don't know anything of the booking in AEW. I know you are very critical. Amanda and I at times are incredibly critical of it as well, but none more so than you. But we don't know. I would hazard a guess that they're at a point where they're aware that they really are not building people up at that upper level. They have a shit ton of mid-card. They have Kenny. And really no one that looks like he can beat him. And it looks the same for maybe Mox is up there, but Mox has lost some. Maybe Jericho's up there, but Jericho's lost some. It's a real hard step down, and there's no one who's really at that level where they're getting competitive wins. Even in pay-per-views, it seems like so much of the matches are bullshit, which is not great. I was going to say fine, but it's not great. I feel like there is an awareness now that you can't do that forever, and we need to build an upper card. My hope is that maybe in Bryan going back there, maybe they did take they talked to him and he's like, no, we're not doing this shit. Because maybe this worked out very well to me.
Yeah, I will say that they did do the smudge at the end. As Daniel Bryan is trying to put the move on, the ref's trying to pull Daniel Bryan off, and that's when all the Elite come out and start schmozzing it up. So they did kind of time it well.
Good tease, because you're kind of expecting it.
Yeah, but they did it at a decent time. Amanda, what do you think of the match?
I will say that since the inception of AEW, Kenny, I feel, has, this is not the same Kenny. It was not the same Kenny Omega. Actually, to be honest with you, it's a poor man's lazy version of Kenny Omega is what I think AEW Kenny is. Nothing's really exciting about any matches. I mean, when I watch it, I say to myself, this is the guy that went the distance with Okada not once but twice. Yeah. What the fuck is this? And so it was very refreshing last night to see something that was very competitive for Kenny. And it was great. I mean, I personally was like, wow, this is what Kenny's been missing all along. Because if you're going to have these high level people, you need it to be competitive, not just like, I'm going to squash you, like, oh, here's Janela, ha ha ha, here's an instant win. Or like Miro and Fuego del Sol, like, oh yeah, that's an instant win, So I think that for me, my expectation was met and then some, because I was expecting it to be good. I didn't expect we'd see old Kenny. That I did not expect. But I think that all in all, I mean, the future looks very bright with having Bryan Danielson. Now, obviously, once this whole wave gets over with Kenny, it'll be interesting to see what he does next.
Yeah.
But it'll be a while, I think.
I thought it was cool. I did have a few things about it, though, because here was the thing I thought was really funny to me. The amount of people chanting this is awesome during it, the amount of response I saw saying, best match I've ever seen, best match in AEW history, stuff like that. Crazy stuff to me. Because, I mean, I wouldn't even put this in the top 10 Daniel Bryan matches of the year even. I mean, maybe top 10, but I would say that if you even go back like 2 years, every match he had with Drew Gulak or Cesaro was better than this match. So I was a little disappointed, actually, in the lack of wrestling in this match because I really wanted to see more of what I know they both can do. And they really brought this down to just a striking thing, so much so that I wanted to take notes, and I found somebody else who took a similar note, so I'm going to mesh both our notes. This is a 30-minute time limit match, right?
Yep.
It is 11 minutes and 35 seconds before one of them does a move that's not a strike. It is 35 seconds into the match before they even move from their corners, but it's actually almost 2 full minutes before they move and touch. The first strike is 2 minutes in. So if you have a match that's 30 minutes and you're both going up against the arguable best wrestler in the world, I mean, that's why we're having this match, right? Because one of these two dudes is probably the best in the world, right? And I won't even argue that point. I just thought it was bizarre that they wasted so much time. It was 11 and a half move. Say what?
I said, don't tell Phil that.
Oh, well, he's never even been half as good as either of these guys. But
No. Mm-mm.
it's also, what was it, 13 minutes in before the first pinfall attempt even happens. 15 minutes in before Kenny even does a pinfall attempt, and it's strictly a reversal of Daniel Bryan's pinfall attempt. But I thought it was neat, right? So someone wrote these down. 74 strikes for Daniel Bryan, 51 strikes from Omega. As far as submission times go, Daniel Bryan had 57 seconds worth of submission, and Omega had 8 seconds. These two dudes are chain wrestling geniuses. Like, I was super disappointed in this match because I wanted to see more. Now, I'll give you that should give me the desire to see more, right? You're going to put this on a pay-per-view. This was a massive teaser. But I'll say over half the match, I was like, really, this is all we're going to get? Like, it wasn't my favorite teaser. I wish they'd done a little bit of chain wrestling. And they did a lot of strikes and a lot of stuff on the outside. And I was like, ugh.
Because that's what AEW fans like. They like all the strikes. They like all of that kind of shit. Because if you were to give someone chain wrestling, they'd fall asleep. I mean, I don't know. That's the sophistication of the AEW watcher.
It was mostly chops and kicks, this whole thing.
Yeah.
They even wrote down, let's see, where was it? Pinfall attempts. Daniel Bryan had 4, Kenny Omega had 4. So these guys are trying to win a match against the best in the world. You have 30 minutes, and they only try to win 4 times. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just the stuff that kind of gives it away to me, where I just go like, oh, come on. I do think that I will say that I was disappointed in the match because I know that they're capable of so much more. And I will say that, yes, it works in the idea of, do I want to see more out of them? Yes. But I also don't want to feel like I wasted my time, and this felt a little bit like a waste of time. But it was neat to see them in the ring. I liked the energy. I liked seeing it. I'm in the Not Sam Discord, if you guys are shills for him as well. And he even said in there, he said, this match feels like it's not even about AEW, it's about wrestling fans. And I fully agree with that because, I mean, we've talked about it. I don't watch AEW almost at all at this point. I watch highlights and clips, but this is one where just as a wrestling fan, well, Kenny Omega and Daniel Bryan in the ring is worth watching. I don't care what show it's on, you know? So if the fact it was free and I could watch it was cool, but the fact that it was over half of the match was them standing around looking at each other and doing chops, I was like, this feels like an indie thing. A lot of chops to me feels like someone's first couple matches. They didn't do anything that made me think that it wasn't 20-year veterans. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can get that. I feel...
But I'm saying that's not dumb. That's probably smart. But as a viewer who doesn't watch the show much, who was excited to see it for TV or whatever, it did feel a little bit of a bummer, a little bit of a letdown because I knew that there could be more. So they'll probably have a tremendous match on a pay-per-view that I won't end up watching because I'm not willing to pay for it. But
I don't pay for them.
Amanda, you can't say that on our podcast.
Someone else pays for them.
Yeah.
But I don't pay for them.
But yeah, that was my thought on it. It wasn't a bad match. It wasn't a great match. And I expected a lot more out of these two dudes, so it kind of makes me excited about the idea of what they're going to do next. If this was met with such high praise, people are going to lose their fucking mind. I saw a few people going like, "This is pay-per-view quality," and I was like, "No, it's not." Like,
It's a good match for a TV show. I will give it that. I'm not going to knock it all the way down. It was a good match for Dynamite show. It was a different match.
Mhm.
I would say this, and the one thing
unique for AEW. But go ahead.
Yes. The one thing I'd say, and I wonder this, for striking that heavily, you bring it to mind, both of these people are huge fans of wrestling. They both cite lots of matches. They both very clearly focus on matches that have in some ways been considered, like, by some, like, the best ever. I know in the 90s there was matches between that Masawa was in. They had straight minutes of chops, like of striking and very slow build. And I wonder if maybe that was a thing there, maybe because they're both kind of people who might call things out. But then I also maybe do agree this could have been a match about wrestling. This could have been a match about the audience. The audience of AEW in a lot of ways is people that truly enjoy the spots, the silliness, the events of wrestling, and less the storytelling, which I can totally understand. There's times it's really fucking hard to watch matches that slow build long and I don't get it. You know, I can be that where I'm at times really happy to see somebody do a Meltzer driver, and some silly bullshit. But that's my thought. Like taking away maybe that. Where did that lie? Could it be a combination of both? It wasn't bad by any means, but it wasn't.
It wasn't a Meltzer 5-star. Well, because it wasn't.
Oh wait, it will be.
No, it wasn't in the Tokyo Dome, so it can't be.
They gave fucking the Young Bucks FTR the cage match 5.75 stars.
Oh my god. Well, yeah. I mean, I do think it was really cool to see it on AEW, and I do think that it was a different type of match than the AEW crowd is used to watching because it was so slow. I just also find it ironic that maybe what it is it's the fans almost buy into their own shit all the time. So when they see it's going to be Omega versus Bryan, they go, oh, well, this is going to be the greatest match. It's going to be just probably the greatest match. And then no matter what they do out there, they say, this is incredible. And I'll say there's an excitement and electricity to being a high-level fan, just excited to see two people in the ring. And I think that's great. I think they fed off a lot of the energy, and I love that. But objectively watching this match, I was like, this was an okay match. These guys can do more. They will do more, and it'll be better down the line. But it didn't make me feel like anything on that show was going to be can't miss. It felt like, oh, I could have missed this. I could have skipped this entirely. But I thought it ended great, and I thought that it definitely builds to the idea of, well, we've gotten nowhere. Because really, that's the idea of like a fuck finish, a smudge finish, a DQ finish, is that feeling of we've gotten nowhere, so we have to have another match to get somewhere. We don't know anything we didn't know going into this. You know what I mean? And I thought they did that wonderfully. The finish was so good. But there was like 20 minutes of this that I was like,
Yeah, and you do throw out something that it didn't feel like there was a desire to get a pin.
Yeah.
Which, especially for Kenny, I feel like if you're trying to showcase how good you are and how Daniel Bryan is on your level, I feel like every fucking time you put him on his shoulders, you'd be pinning him.
yeah.
Like, and that doesn't have to make it an incredibly quick match. That can, but that breaks up moments too.
Because how many times have they talked about it on commentary before where they say, hey, the act of kicking out of a pin takes energy. Just by making pinfall attempts, you're wearing down your opponent. You do any action enough, you become very tired. That's the whole point of a gym. So if you have the guy going like this over and over again, it will progressively get harder to kick out because you're just getting more sore doing that same thing. So, yeah, that's what I meant exactly. You worded it better because I said it gave the whole thing away. And that's what I meant, is it gives it away that they're not trying to win when they never try to pin someone. You just go, oh, they're just here to play. This felt like, you know what it really felt like? It felt like people just practicing. It felt like sparring. It felt like there was no desire to win. There was not going to be a winner. Nobody expected to win. No one wanted to win. It was, hey, let's just go out there and, hey, let's go work out together, man. Like, that's what it felt like in that regard. But it was cool. Oh, Hollywood Dork Chop made it. Oh, man. I hope he doesn't think I was shitting on it the whole time. I was talking good things on it, man. I was just saying that I thought the psychology of the match was bizarre. But he says, I really enjoyed the match personally, even though no one did any moves for like 15 minutes. It was riveting. See? That's what I was saying. And he goes, but I'm a shill, so. But that's what I loved. I like that you had the opportunity to, you know, as an AEW fan, to get to enjoy Daniel Bryan the way that we've been spoiled with in the WWE universe, to be honest. I think it's really cool he's over there. I also think someone said that they felt like this was an NJPW match. And I can agree with that given the comparison that Klump said. But more so the mentality, because I really truly think that Daniel Bryan wanted matches with Kenny so bad he would have left WWE with or without AEW existing to go have a match with Kenny in Japan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I do think that's pretty cool. This felt like, in that regard, it felt like void of the fact that it was AEW. It just felt like this was a match that was destined to happen by these two wrestlers, and we all get to watch it right now, and that's pretty dope. What were you about to say, Amanda?
I was going to say the comparison to like an NJPW match, no, because that fan base, and I'm not talking the Gaijin fan base, I'm talking about the actual Japanese fan base. They appreciate that kind of slow build with that kind of physicality in there, because if you watch some of the guys who have a slower build, like Zack Sabre Jr., even Murder Grandpa too. I mean, just to pick on people. I mean, they're kind of like that. You don't have to be like spry and bouncing all over the place like, Kota Ibushi, Naito even works very slow. Sonata, very, very slow, methodical. So I think that the US people, they don't understand that. They just see, oh my God, Shingo chopped this dude really hard. Oh my God, or whatever. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say that, to be a snob that, you got to appreciate that or whatever, but it's a whole different thing. And I think that as time evolves, I've noticed that they're going away from British strong style more to that kind of chain wrestling kind of thing that I've noticed. Yeah, you can see it in Ilya Dragunov. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's a good shift, because now it's more, I don't want to say artistic, but it gives a little bit more than, okay, this guy's a hammer and you're just gonna see red everywhere, broken capillaries, So I think that's what's exciting about wrestling,
Yeah, I got you. Justin Time says in the chat, I'd completely forgot about the time limit draw possibility until one of the commentators said they were running out of time. He goes, love the match, glad they went with what felt like the right direction. Or right decision. Yeah, I think the finish was fucking good. Dorkchop says, I somewhat disagree with your idea that the psychology being weird through, though, since Kenny was working Bryan's, quote, injured back and neck, and Bryan was constantly trying to work Kenny into his submission finisher. They set all that up early on and kept it up for like 70% of the match. I'm not talking about the psychology of the moves. I'm talking about the psychology of the competitors, right? So they did set up the Kenny, or that they were going to be attacking those moves, and they did throughout the match. But, I mean, Bryan didn't even try for his finisher for almost 25 minutes in or so. Kenny didn't attempt to go for a pinfall at all until 25 minutes and 21 seconds. That was his first pinfall attempt. I'm saying that you have two dudes who are trying to prove they're the best, and neither of them ever tried to finish the match. And when you look at the amount of time they were in a submission, Daniel Bryan only held a submission time between all of those setups you're talking about was 57 seconds in a submission. Kenny was 8 seconds. So I'm just saying that, like, they did very little to try to win, and it didn't feel like that was ever the thing. 4 pinfall attempts from each of them, and all within the last two or 3 minutes. I get the idea of wearing someone down, but as we talked about just a couple minutes ago, the act of going for a pinfall attempt is the act of wearing down your opponent by making them repetitively kick out and use their energy to do that. It becomes tougher, and they didn't try to go for any kind of victory, submission or otherwise, until the last couple minutes, which makes the last couple minutes really cool, but it made the whole rest of it going like, why is no one even trying to like wear down their opponent by doing a pinfall? Dorkchop does say CM Punk versus Darby and this match, both being a slower pace, felt like a fresh drink of water, though. With AEW's usually breakneck pace, though, I'm glad they want to work that style into more stuff. Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, I love that. Which what I was saying earlier, too, is the idea that this was on AEW made it even cooler to me. Because I was like, I'm glad the crowd is eating it up. Because it really does. It solidifies, or just kind of goes to prove that idea that, you don't have to do a million things in a short period of time for the crowd to like it. The same crowd that has been putting over all of those million-mile-an-hour matches also put this over entirely. So it's like, this crowd's going to be receptive. You can do it all at this crowd. And Jeremy in Time says, people saying Omega versus Bryan should have ended in DQ forgets the fact that AEW does whatever it takes to avoid DQ finishes. Yeah, I don't think it had to end in DQ. I think they did it the right way, the time limit draw, because they just don't want to have a DQ to begin with, and you don't have to. This is one of those times where you really didn't need to. There's a lot of matches that probably should have ended in DQ that didn't. There's one that didn't need it. I don't think. I'll go to Klump, and then we'll go back to Amanda. Klump, was there anything you wanted to add in there?
We're still talking about Daniel Bryan, Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've hit it really well. It was a great match. It was, or for Dynamite on TV, trying to establish what they are, not having much to go off. It was a fantastic match for what it was, and it leaves me excited for more. And I think that's honestly, to me, key. This match leaves me wanting more and sees the possibility of change coming in AEW. Not just to mean styles, because significantly more for polished wrestlers versus people who do spots, but in storytelling. In maybe we can start building people who can have belts and are not having to be built up with this absolute monster, only to then lose and be kicked absolutely down the card.
You know what? I think my when I really break down my problem with the match is I think it was 10 minutes too long. I think if it was a 20-minute match that ended almost the exact same way and had virtually the same pacing, but you didn't have the 10 minutes of waiting for someone to do something at the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I think that's what made it drag to me, because I was like, why are we 15 minutes in and no one's even hit each other? You know what I mean?
Well,
like, you've had a couple of chops. Chops don't win matches. You're not Walter. You know what I mean?
Well, and that's a good point. That could be it, is if you have the match, again, going to pacing, if we're doing more, it can be strikes, it can be strike heavy, it can be weirdly long, but break it up with things. In a slow build match, a lot of pins can do that. Having a hell of a moment, like up to 10 minutes, and then we switch to striking because shit hit hard, like they got hurt or something, they landed rough, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I think that's my only issue. I think I would have shaved 10 minutes of standing around looking at the crowd and doing nothing, and I would have just let it be a little bit shorter of a match, because I think that the last 20 minutes was all great. The first 10 minutes, I'm like, what the fuck is happening? Torchop does say this just they just want to set up a 60-minute Iron Man match. I hope. I think it'd be great if they did.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'd be okay with that, and then have multiple pinfalls and stuff, so it really goes back and forth. So, and I'd give the first pinfall, like if you're gonna have Omega win, I would give the first pinfall to Daniel Bryan. I love the idea of putting people in Iron Man matches that they want. Like I would have Daniel Bryan say he wants an Iron Man match, then have him get the first pinfall and lose the last two, because then it makes Bryan look like you screwed yourself out of the victory, man. You know what I mean? Which just makes, to me, a more compelling story. Amanda, anything else on that?
The only thing I have to ask, and I don't know, is I tend to think with AEW fans, and this is, I'm not, if you live in one of these states where they go to all the time, I'm not shitting on you, but I don't think that when you look at if they're in Florida versus if they're in Missouri versus if they're in, I don't know, Pennsylvania, whatever, never Delaware. Sorry.
Never Delaware.
No, that's never going to happen. And if that happens before California, I'm going to be pissed off.
Hell to pay.
Okay. Anyways, but do you think that New York crowds, to me, I think are a little bit more sarcastic, sometimes maybe a little bit more savvy, versus like a Chicago person where, Chicago people, it's like, this is hometown, hometown pride, I mean, Punk's been at the reception everywhere because this is what people wanted. 7 years into making, they wanted it. But I wonder if this was done in that match, done in a different city. Would it,
got a different reaction?
Would you have a different reaction?
I don't know. I'd like to think not. I think the AEW fan base is pretty gung-ho for whatever they're getting. I think they love it. I'd like to think that the audience is pretty much on the same page, but you're right. It brings up a good point, and it brings up that whole... it brings up the idea that Miro talked about when he left, that Vince McMahon thought the crowd was being sarcastic when they cheered Rusev.
Mm-hmm.
That it does bring into the fact that why would Vince think that if it's never happened before? Like, there probably is a weird thing with certain crowds where they go, oh yeah, these crowds just want to do the opposite of what other crowds do. So I wonder as time goes on if the AEW crowd will become weirdly split in certain areas and such. You know what I mean? But I think right now they're eating it up, and I think they should. I think it's very exciting. It's a very exciting time to be an AEW fan. And that was the largest crowd for any wrestling event outside of WWE since 1999. That's fantastic. You literally went to the WrestleMania of not WrestleMania if you're in that crowd. You should be fucking cheering for everything. Don't go there if you don't like a lot of it. Stay out of my SummerSlam. You know what I mean? Don't come to my SummerSlam and boo. Go to your fucking Arthur Ashe Stadium and cheer. Come on. Get it sorted out. Stupid fans.
Damn. Well, I will say this. When Tony Khan decides he's not allergic in his company to the West Coast, I think we're kind of snobby out here, because we do get a lot of really good wrestling out here. And it'll be very interesting to see.
I would be curious to see how they get a reaction in California just because of how big GWC and PWG are in California. You could see a whole different set of fan favorites.
Yep. And also not only that too, but in the Pacific
GWC
Northwest,
and GCW are the same thing if you're dyslexic. Go ahead, Amanda. Sorry about that.
No. And even like with the Pacific Northwest, because you have Defy up there, who's done some really, really great shows and some really great things that, that's a snob fest over there. Yeah. And, there's certain things we expect. And I think that if it doesn't deliver, it's gonna be,
burn the seats.
We don't have to, we still go to PWG. So, but that's just me. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. And Vegas, by the way, is not West Coast.
It's not.
There's no water.
Well, I think I'd give other reasons besides water to argue that it's not West Coast. I would say, well, Vegas is an anomaly because it's a destination. So the crowds you get in Vegas will always be split because people go to wrestling events in Vegas because it's something to do in Vegas while you're in Vegas. Yeah. People will go to a show that's in Vegas strictly because it's in Vegas and not because of the show itself necessarily. So you get like a really mixed, weird crowd. Yeah, Vegas is a weird place.
Arizona will be interesting as well. But I think that those states of, Arizona, California, Oregon, and Washington, those are going to be the ones you're going to look at and be,
Could be.
Could
be.
Yeah.
Hollywood Dork Chop in the chat does say New York City crowd was smarky as fuck, as seen in the Cody versus Malachi match, which I'm sure you'll get to. So you guys have to talk about that. Because this is where I checked out. As soon as the Bucks ran out in their pajamas and Adam Cole was out there with his fingers in the air, I was like, well, I've seen quite enough. And I turned it off and said, I don't need to see any more of this. I think Jungle Boy ran out or something.
Yeah, Luchasaurus.
Yeah, I just like, okay, I saw what I wanted to see, and I liked it. And so what happened on Dynamite, guys? Talk about it. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like, or any highlights specifically, or you could just straight up talk about the Cody versus Malachi thing with Dork Chop. You guys like that Brandy Rhodes is back?
Yeah, we'll get into that whole bit. But I did want to mention Phil. Yep, I'm calling him Phil. Doesn't earn my respect. So he came out and did his promo. He'll never have my respect as far as I'm concerned. Until the day that Cabana beats his ass. Then he'll have my respect. But anyways, it was very interesting because, the dog and pony show with him. Everyone's like chanting CM Punk. Half the crowd has his shirt on, which, by the way, Phil Cabana's still making money anyway off your ass. But, it was very interesting. What I think was a missed opportunity was he should have been interrupted by Ricky Starks or Hobbs, not necessarily Taz coming out. No, he should have been interrupted by one of those two. And I didn't get that. We didn't get that. And I'm like, man, it's just a stupid thing where he's going to drop the mic and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is WWE bullshit. I thought you didn't like that, Punk. Come on now. So, I don't know. I just thought that was a wasted opportunity because you could really be making stars out of people, but that was a waste. So
Yeah. Then again, I'm okay with how they let him finish because we've seen over and over so many like interrupt this, interrupt that, like to jump in where we don't complete promos, where we don't complete like action. It's like, well, why the fuck would you come out to the ring and talk? Shit's gonna happen. So I kind of get that. I want to see Punk in the ring. I want to see more of him because at this point I'm in the middle too much to really say here or there on him. I do think it is, other than I think the crowd's a bit overdone, and that's why I want to give time, because it's just a bit much. But hey, he could still win me over if I see it, and I don't think I'll be at that level where everyone's going crazy, but I think the crowd will cool down, which is needed for him. I mean, what did other than that, like the matches that kind of stuck out to me, the Ruby Soho match and the promo work going into it, I liked a lot. I didn't have a really big problem with the match. I liked how competitive it looked. I know it was for the title, and it was like, it ain't gonna change hands.
Yeah,
but I really hope that they have more out of this. This is one I also would have liked to have ended in a time limit or in some other way so that we could continue the story.
Yeah.
And hopefully we do, but I think that's ready made for it. Just to do that, have her try and get get Lockjaw on and have Ruby have some way of getting out of it, or have it be questioned. This would be a great one of, she gets it on and it looks like a tap, but it's a leg on something. You didn't make me tap. It'd be a good spot to me. And that doesn't make it doesn't make anyone look bad. And versus the loss, it's a little bit rough to me, honestly. But it was still a pretty decent women's match. And for AEW, fantastic.
Doortrap does say seeing CM Punk is great, but I'm already sick of Cult of Personality. That song sucks. Yeah, I was never a big fan of that song. Even when they first... What?
Good.
Oh, yeah, I've just never liked that song to begin with. So even when it became his thing, I was like, really? That's the song he identifies with? That's weird. Because, like, when you hear about it, too, like, he fought to get that and really pushed, and WWE got it for him as a sign that they're behind him and stuff, and spent a ton of money on it. And
I prefer to... Sorry, you finished.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, none of that song I ever really gave to me. Like, I always thought it was the weirdest entrance song. I was like, this is a weird song to come out to.
Yeah, I mean, I liked when it wasn't, I think, well, he never has, as much as he is a big straight edge punk guy, his music's always not. It's been metal of some type, and Cult of Personality is like kind of a metal band. I liked when he came out to, and I fucking hate Killswitch Engage, but his initial theme, the Killswitch Engage song, was fantastic. I thought it had like a great pop. It hit hard and was good for him to come in. That said, and I have a question for Dork Chop.
Hollywood Dork Chop.
Annoyed by the song. Yeah, man, I hope he does. Yeah. How does he feel about Cult of Personality being his theme, given that he's coming in as somebody so over and so on top of this with such a big fan base, versus before when he'd come out to Cult of Personality, which in a lot of ways, we talked about this, but it felt like the song was a shot at the WWE, shot at management, shot at the setup, and now really he is, as the song says, he is JFK and Mussolini.
Yep. Yeah, that's the irony, is that he is what he always fought against in a lot of ways by being the face that he is in AEW, which I think makes him all that more interesting to me as someone who's not a CM Punk fan, watching him be the complete opposite of the entire thing that ever got him over, and the fans still be all like, yeah, but it's CM Punk, so it's fine. And I'm just kind of watching going like, really? He's like that? Yeah. His whole thing forever was that you can't deny me, that you can't silence me, all this stuff, and which he also never was, but regardless, his whole like anti-establishment thing is, and now he's like the face of the company. He's the John Cena of AEW, like it or not. You can try and pretend he's not, but
No,
he is.
doesn't have
he
a good
is.
butt.
He doesn't have a good butt.
That's
That's a good point.
There is no butt. Sorry, don't make those comparisons, please.
But he's the top. He's the dude. He's the whole thing. And then, like, you're right. The whole point of Cult of Personality was that, like you said, a shot at the company of my followers are almost a cult because I am such a charismatic personality. You can't deny me. And it was this like John Cena coming out to My Time Is Now, and then CM Punk coming out to Cult of Personality saying like, I'm as over as you, and you guys keep silencing me. And then at AEW, it's just like, no, you can have like half the show if you want to do whatever you want. Like,
yeah,
whatever you want. It's like,
well, and I feel like I didn't take it as him saying it like the song meaning like I have my thing. I thought it was more like to look at him versus John Cena, or a lot of people. It's like all of these people are put in front of you, and it's like it's just shooting at them, but in a really tongue-in-cheek way. Like, this is all created for you, and this is organic, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it was more like the song wasn't even a reference to him. It was a reference to the environment around him that he was fighting. This 100% is now he's John Cena.
Yeah. Which is neat.
Now he's
to me.
Vince.
Yeah. And it's really neat to me. Dortrip just says, being honest, I don't know any of Punk's WWE work. I wasn't watching then. Just seen the pipe bomb and other clips. I missed his whole run. I won't say you missed it.
You didn't miss much.
He had some decent shit. He shaved the lady's head.
Yeah.
Poor
some fun
Serena
That was
Deeb.
cool.
Poor Serena Deeb, man.
Yeah,
Jeez.
poor Serena Deeb.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? They do like a backstage segment where like she's tying up her hair and he walks by and she just like scurries away.
Yeah.
That I'd love. Like, they walk by, short, look at each other, short glance, lifts razor, sprints.
Yeah.
But I will say this: if you want to see pretty good CM Punk matches, go back to the ROH catalog. Watch him and Samoa Joe. That's some good shit.
Oh yeah, that was cool stuff. Dorchester does say, wish he would come out to some minor threat or something. Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah,
TV
he's
party.
Bars, you know, what the hell?
Yeah.
If he came
or
out to
Watermelon
TV Party
Man by Herbie
Black...
Hancock.
No.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Everyone look up Watermelon Man by Herbie Hancock. That'd be
No.
perfect for CM Punk.
No.
Don't,
If it's
don't
what I-
do it.
Door Chop, it'd be perfect. It's perfect for CM Punk.
No.
TV Party by fucking Black Flag.
That'd be
Because
good.
he's on TV, he's doing it, it's got a good beat to it.
And he looks like he's having a fucking party. He's bringing ice cream sandwiches and shit and jumping into the crowd to crowd surf to his own music.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. That would work.
Yeah.
Lee Moonlight coming through. Oh, hi. She came by to say hi, playing
Hi.
with birthday Fox person on stream. All right.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Cheers, Leah. All right. Well, enough ragging on CM Punk, but but I'll give you. It's very exciting that he's in wrestling doing something, and those are the fans that like him, and I get it. Oh, Dork Chop says he's in. He found Watermelon Man.
Oh no.
Yeah. That's my entrance music, but CM Punk can have it. I'll be honest. I'll fold for CM Punk, but no one else. All right, guys. Yeah, keep going. Anything else you wanted to?
Yeah, I want to comment on that Ruby Soho match. I mean, this is probably one of Britt Baker's better matches. I would have to say. I don't know if it was better than Thunder Rosa and her, but you know, I mean, it was pretty solid for what Britt Baker can do. I really can't wait to see Ruby Soho versus Thunder Rosa myself. It's going to be amazing, I think, and it just brings everything to the next level, which is great. So I have no complaints about the match at all. You know, did it deserve to close the show out? I think so. Because I would not have put the Super Click versus who, I don't even remember who they wrestled, but you know, I wouldn't have done that. So
Okay.
that's what I did.
I will say I didn't watch the match, but when we heard that Ruby won the Battle Royal, if you remember, I said here on, I believe it was episode 1, that it sounded to me like another one of the big WWE signings they do, which is, I'm not knocking the WWE signing thing. I think if someone doesn't work for a company, they should work for another company, and I'm not one of those like, it's all ex-WWE. I think that's a fucking bullshit narrative. But they do that thing where it's like, oh, we're going to get the misused and the mistreated and bring them over. and then they get their obligatory title match in the main event for a show, and then they get kind of like back to the bottom and work their way back up, kind of a deal. And that's what it felt like. Not having seen the match, is that basically what happened? She got her obligatory title match, and then they just moved on.
Yep. I mean, I all I could think of was, damn. Marsh did say that on episode 1 that this was going to happen. So, cheers to Marsh being the Nostradamus of AEW.
Marsh Stradamus. Marsh Stradamus.
Yeah,
Dorkchop does say Ruby and Britt was a great match. Looking forward to seeing more of Ruby for sure. Yeah, and I agree with that. Ruby's fantastic. As soon as they let her go, I was all like, well, that seems like an awful thing to do, strictly based off of she's so good. Why would you not want that person in your locker room or on your TV? So she was one that I was hoping and expecting to go to AEW because, I mean, I even said as soon as she got let go, she should be on TV. She's TV ready on a high level. She should be there. My only concern is that by the time she finished up with WWE, she was starting to get pretty goofy in the ring. Her selling was getting overly cartoonish and hard to digest. And her promos were getting kind of silly as well, where it was almost like watching Leave It to Beaver. So my concern with her being in AEW, there's a lot of goofy people over there, and I just hope she doesn't lean into the goofy and gets a little more serious. In that match, how was her selling?
You know, I didn't see any of that, to be honest.
Good.
Yeah, I know.
This was the wrestler I knew before.
Good.
You know?
Yeah. Selling wise, everything looked good. There was none of that weird shit.
Good.
It was
perfect.
like, it was in that sense boring, but that's good.
Yeah. No, it's great because I think that she has the capability and the skill to be that level of legit in the ring and stand out because of it. Where I think if she was selling overly goofy and cartoonish, where she would get these big eyes and fall down like a cartoon, and I was always like, fuck, I don't want you to blend in AEW because a lot of wrestlers overdo that stuff, and I think she has the capacity to stand out and be a huge standout. Bishop in the chat does say no Battle Royal winner has won their title match, which is true. When do AEW fans begin to say we don't need the Battle Royal because it doesn't mean anything? Not only does it not mean anything, but they haven't done a decent Battle Royal yet. All their Battle Royals are such a mess. So, and Dorkshop does say they had good chemistry. I think there was one weird spot that didn't connect, but overall it was really solid and fun. I don't think anyone thought Ruby would win the belt at any point, but she still looked strong. Well, that's unfortunate. I mean, it's good. But you want someone to believe you're going to win at some point.
Yeah.
Even Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar. There was a point where you thought, well, Finn might pull it out.
Yeah,
but
when you're watching you don't want it to be like a college basketball game where it's like, the Tennessee Southern Institute of Technology, they're beating Gonzaga? No, they're not.
Yeah. You want there to be a moment. At least a moment where you go, oh shit, they're going to let Ruby win. He's like, no, there was no single moment. But that's cool. I'm glad Ruby looked good. But we'll see how it goes now. I mean, who knows? Just in time does say Casino Battle Royal was pretty much become a time filler on pay-per-view. It's their way of getting people their sign-on bonus #1 contender match. Because the problem is they have the rankings, right? And if you want to have someone come in and say you're going to put you in a main event for a title shot right away, the only way they can do that is with the Battle Royal because they have to circumvent the ranking. That's what the whole thing is, I think. And then Dorkchop says, Britt is too good of a champ for them right now to shake things up. She's getting interviewed by ESPN and HBO and shit. She's probably as good on those things.
Yeah.
I haven't been super impressed with her, to be honest. I know a lot of people are, but I think she's okay. I think she's decent for them. But she's probably great as far as like those types of interviews go because she's super personable and charismatic. So probably amazing as a face of the company. Amanda, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, let's talk about your one of your favorite wrestlers, Adam Cole, baby, with his fingers up in the air. Yeah. Now, I will say this. Watching NXT with Adam Cole, sorry, it was missing something for me. I don't know if it's because, I'm indie-centric and I loved Adam Cole on the indies, even though the same players were there with him. But there's just something special about with him and the Bucks. I don't know what it is. I can't tell you. But there's some kind of weird magic there. And I knew that that's what I was going to get. Is there going to be some silliness? Yeah. because it's a young bucks match, you know, and that's what it is, you know. So I just was like very impressed with, you know what, Adam Cole is really back in his element, not fighting like weird wannabe hipster, you know, Kyle O'Reilly, or doing other stupid shit. This was actually something that I'm like, this is where he shines, like this. Because again, his look, he doesn't look small when you look at him. He looks like he just kind of fits in. But then again, if you threw Miro next to him, or you threw Wardlow or Archer, yeah, he's gonna look at him.
Or me, or an adult.
Yeah.
He looks normal because he's around a bunch of
normal people
that you argue have wasting diseases.
Yeah.
I thought him going to an AEW would be the best place for him, to be honest. There's just
absolutely.
Yeah. So it's good. It's
Not
good that he's having a
because-
good time over there.
Yeah, not just because he's banging the chin. That's where he should be.
Banging the chick. Yes, I agree. He should be banging the
Well,
chick.
that too, but well, you know, whatever. But yeah, that's not
Sex
my
is an important part of a healthy relationship. I agree.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
and it cuts down on Tony Khan's bills because they only have to get one room instead of two.
Yeah. Well, and we didn't talk about this. Well, that's fucking weird. But we didn't talk about it so much. But it's funny that you mentioned that, because when Ruby made the comment to Britt that she was just another woman banging some dude in the back, I know a lot of people had issues with it in certain ways, but it was funny because me and producer were just like confused by it. We're like, she was there before him, and she was like the first woman they signed. Like, she was literally the first one in the locker room. Like, what
It
a
is
weird
kinda-
thing to say.
Yeah, it was. That's a real quick way to diminish someone's efforts.
Yeah. I was like, what? And then I was like, and I even said too, I was like, at that point though, it's also like, who the fuck are you talking about? Because when you say that, like, you start thinking about everyone she wrestled in WWE. She didn't wrestle anyone who was in a relationship with someone in the back, but Natty, who's been with the same dude since she was like 16. You're like, you're gonna fucking knock Natty for being with TJ for their whole lives? I was like, I don't know what she's talking about. Like, I was just confused by it. I was like, it was all for that moment to where everyone goes, oh.
Some
'Cause
people
everyone
need
knows.
happiness.
Yeah, that's Mr. DMD.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
But we were all like, that's so weird, because arguably you could say that about Adam Cole, that he only got there because of his girlfriend.
Yeah, he's
but
banging
you
the
can't say
girl.
that about her.
Which
She's been there for much longer.
Yeah.
that would be an amazing promo back if they'd flip the tables on that and have like Christian be like, "You're just someone here. You're just banging the top female talent. Why the fuck are you here? What makes you important?
Yeah.
Your best
That'd
friends."
be so funny,
and,
dude.
Yeah.
I would love
But you're
that.
not going to get that. You're not going to get that because, you know,
He's insecure.
it's that reverse sexism kind of thing, and you're not.
No. Don't do that. It's not reverse sexism. This is him.
It is.
No.
Yeah.
This is male insecurity.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. No, this is like reverse sexism makes it sound like that she's doing something wrong. No. This is guys being insecure.
Yeah.
You try that group of guys. You try that hard to do that many things to try and maintain those piss poor hairlines. There's some insecurity there.
No. Let's see. Justin Times in the chat says Britt is too inconsistent with her matches. She has these long gaps of bad matches, then has one good one, then goes right back to the string of bad ones. I think that's what. I think I agree with that. I don't think so. I don't think it can completely be that, because I've seen her have sloppy matches with good people too. She had a bad match with Thunder Rosa once. You're gonna tell me for 1 second. I mean, they had a couple good ones, but they also had a bad one. I think she had not a very good one with Serena Deeb, and I think Allison Kay, if I remember correctly. But like, she's had some bad matches with people that you go. All her matches with Shida were terrible, but she does get a few like home runs here and there, and then people go like, "Yep, see, that's it right there." And so I mean, but it's a growing thing, man. She'll eventually get to consistency, I hope. And Dorkchop does say, Britt with the "You aren't a runaway, you got fired" clapback was so money though. Way better line. That is a good line.
That is, yeah.
That is a good
High
line.
five.
Yeah.
Good job.
Yeah. Can you imagine like Ruby looks at her and then just like gives her high five, like, all right, I'll give you that one.
Good on you.
Wasn't that her response? Like, you're right, I did. It was the best thing ever. I'm like, that's not. You're trying. I appreciate the effort. It's not gonna win.
Yeah, 100%.
Not
And then
distracted.
Jeremy in Time says Britt is on the verge of being overrated to me. She doesn't give me a reason to believe the fans overhype of her. She isn't all that. I mean, I don't want to say it like that, but yeah, I think she's overrated. but I'm glad that people enjoy. But I also think that it's where they're at. I think that in a couple years it was all a bit early, a bit fast. I don't think she was ready to be the face of the division. I don't think the division was very well put together, and I think it's just a matter of trying to catch up to all that because they're getting bigger faster than the talent's getting better. And I think it's what it is, and I think the gap will close. But I think it's where we're at. Is that I mean, I
need
hope
to
so,
see
at least.
Tessa. I need to see Tessa Blanchard versus Ruby Soho. I need to see that.
I would
badly.
be super interested in that match, to be honest. But
That, because honestly, like, I know a lot of people don't like Tessa Blanchard, but you know what? The bitch is fucking good. She is fucking good at what she does. Male against a male, against a female, whatever. A Luchasaurus, I don't know. But yeah, I think that's what they're missing. They're missing some big power people, because the other person I think that would fit in pretty well, and I can't wait to see if they're ever going to do Jade Cargill versus Camille, and I think that would be a really a good one too. So, but again, I'm not Tony Khan, so I don't book this shit.
yeah, well, it's all good. Anything else going on in there? Was there something? What was the Cody Rhodes stuff? What happened there? I know Brandy Rhodes is back. Everyone's probably really happy, rejoicing. She's the face of the company, the best wrestler they got. There's the whole thing. You know what I mean?
Well, I didn't understand why at first when he came out. And shout out to, there were two of you guys out there who I know you lurk me and you have your own podcast. It's nobody on here right now, but you stole my Evil Knievel joke because he looked like, I said, what is this? Evil Codevil? Because he looked like Evil Knievel to me.
Yeah.
And then two other people like ripped it off. I have the timestamps. People, come on. Give me a quarter. But no, I don't know. It was, for me, it was like, do you have to have this grand entrance? Is it just because, like, Malachi Black has this like amazing, chilling, whatever it is? Because every time gets me right here. Don't know why, it just does. But
I did get a kick out of someone posted a picture of Cody during his entrance, and that cape of his dragged back like 50 feet. It was like a fucking wedding train. It was so fun.
Why? It was weird.
I don't know.
I don't know. And and then Brandy, it's like, okay, good, you're back. I know why you're back, because you got to promote your TV show that's coming out next week. Got it. Totally get it. But
and her ego. Brandy's couldn't be more vain.
Yeah.
How many times was she having matches in front of like every segment when she had no business? When you had other people who were not only better but bigger stars, like.
Yeah. So I don't know, but let's talk about Arn Anderson, because that was.
Oh, where he fell?
Was it an accident or was it supposed to happen? That's where I'm like.
It was an accident. He was not supposed to fall. I saw the replay on that a bunch of times. He was trying so hard not to fall, and then he fell like a turtle. He rocked back and forth like one of those, not like a Weeble, but those like chairs that kind of like you can't really knock over those chairs.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it was like, and he was just like, and then like had to roll him up, get him back on the thing. He gets on the curtain as soon as he's on the apron. Cody's all like, okay, now, and then like runs into him to knock him back down because that was the spot the whole time that he fell for. So funny.
Yeah, I was like, wow, poor Arn. I'm like, it's a real, what's going on here?
Yeah, I felt bad for Arn. He doesn't need to be taking bumps at all and then falling off the apron. Come on.
Yeah, no, come on. What the hell? Have some respect. Shit. Yeah, him or Tully, they shouldn't be doing that kind of shit. But, whatever. Speaking of Tully, FTR, man, I need more FTR in my life.
Okay, hold on, we'll get there. Let's keep going on. I want to stay on the Cody thing for a second, then we'll talk to FTR.
Oh yeah.
Doorchop does say Cody was getting booed out of the building the whole time. It was hilarious. That sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Time does say Cody really showed his ego. He couldn't let Malachi win clean twice. The finish clear set up another match. Not having seen the actual match, but I did notice that no one talked about the match. I forgot they actually had a match, and I thought maybe it was some sort of weird face-to-face because no one's talking about the match. So I imagine the match was super competitive and not very good, and Cody got a win.
No,
Is that not how it went, or what? How'd it go?
no. Malachi Black got the win, but it was kind of
Okay, good.
sloppy. But most people were too busy talking about the wedding veil that Cody was rocking.
Yeah.
And they were talking about other things. So yeah, that totally overshadowed anything that happened. I just want to say that I thought that Malachi Black, again, the selling he did for Cody, pretty fucking phenomenal, I must say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then Dorchop says the crowd went nuts for any of Malachi's offense and booed the shit out of anything Cody did. Bishop says Cody loves himself some Cody. That's true. Just Time says, I wanted Malachi to black mass Brandy so bad. Dorchop says, Arn going indie and falling, then getting back up to do the spot again. And then he says, Brandy should have hopped up there for the second bump. Dude, yeah, 100%. Jeremy says, Malachi spit black mist into Cody's eyes and rolled Cody up to the win. Oh, he's doing some great Muda stuff?
Yeah.
That's neat.
I'm
Do you
not
wonder?
mad at
I wonder
it.
if he's
think
gonna
it's
do.
cool.
Go ahead, Klump.
I'm not mad at the Great Muda stuff. I